Uncertainty looms over a new ceasefire deal in the ongoing Israel-Hamas war. Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh's visit to Egypt and Mossad chief's engagements with the other officials for the talks has been seen as a positive sign. However, both sides have again indicated that a new agreement right now might be off the table. Hamas has reportedly rejected an Israeli proposal for a week-long truce, as it has insisted for Israel to implement a ceasefire before negotiations.
We
are continuing the war to the end. It will continue until Hamas is eliminated, until victory. Whoever thinks that we will stop is detached from reality. We will not stop the fighting until all of the goals that we have set are achieved. The elimination of Hamas, the release of our hostages, and the removal of the threat from Gaza.
We have been clear for some time that since the occupation stopped the temporary truce, we have informed all parties about the clear and specific position that there will be no negotiation on the issue of prisoners before stopping the aggression.
US President Joe Biden also said that the country is pushing for a new deal. However, it's not expected soon. Meanwhile, a United Nations Security Council vote on Gaza has again been delayed for a third day straight. This, as Biden says, US support for the resolution is still unresolved. US diplomats are working out to agree on the language of the draft resolution, calling for a halt in fighting and major increase in aid deliveries to Gaza. Israel, on the other hand, has expanded its fight in Gaza. Israeli military says troops are now also fighting in the Tufa and Daraj neighbourhood of the Gaza city. Israel has released footage of a vast tunnel network they uncovered in Gaza that it says were used by Hamas leaders. The IDF says these tunnels are uncovered from the properties registered to Yahya Sinwar and other senior Hamas organisers of the October 7th attack. Israelis' onslaught continues in southern Gaza. At least 12 people died in Israeli strikes in Rafah in the last 24 hours, while dozens were wounded. Meanwhile, Yemen's Houthi rebels have threatened the United States to attack its warships operating in the region. This in response to the US announcement of the establishment of a new international coalition to protect commercial vessels sailing through the Red Sea. Houthi leader on Wednesday warned that his forces will target American battleships with drones and missiles if Yemen is targeted. US says its Al-Assad airbase in Iraq has been attacked. No injuries have been reported in the latest attack. US bases in West Asia are being frequently attacked since the war broke out. The US says its Iraqi security forces seized a flatbed truck modified to launch rockets that was located at the site. Well, for more on this, we've got our correspondent Jodie Cohen coming from us from Ranana live. Jodie, talks appear to be breaking down on this potential hostage rescue deal. Give us the latest.
Hi, Oliver. So I'm actually what's being called Hostages Square in Tel Aviv, and it's a place where tents have been set up and people can come and speak to the relatives of the 129 hostages still being held in Gaza. And I can tell you, I've been speaking to these families over the weeks and the anguish is building. It's now day 76 since they've been taken hostage into Gaza. And as you said, it looks like the talks aren't making progress on a new hostage release deal. So Israel offered a 1-week pause in fighting to Hamas in exchange for 40 hostages, including the women and those 2 babies that are still being held. And Hamas has reportedly rejected this, saying that they want to see a ceasefire before any talks, and they also want to see the freeing of all Palestinian prisoners from Israeli prisons, including those convicted of murder. Now, the Palestinian Quds News is reporting that Egypt is pressurizing Hamas to accept Israel's proposals, but according to an Israeli official, they're not close to a new deal yet. They're still negotiating. And as you said, there are talks also ongoing regarding this UN Security Council resolution that's calling for a ceasefire. That vote has been postponed yet again. Israel and the US are against the ceasefire. They say that would be sending a message to terror groups that they can get away with mass murder, that there are still hundreds of thousands of Israelis displaced from their homes, that they wouldn't be able to return to their homes on the border because it wouldn't be safe, because Hamas still poses a threat, and of course because of 129 hostages still being held in Gaza. So the US is negotiating on the wording of the resolution, reportedly asking for it to be amended to a suspension in hostilities rather than a ceasefire.
Absolutely. And as this international pressure rises, what is your sense on the ground there, that Israel will be listening to the international community and that potentially the fighting will end?
So we know that the UN has said that Israel has ordered more evacuations in the Khan Yunis area, and also Israel's Defense Minister Gallant has said that where a mission in a particular area is achieved, then they can transition to the next phase, and slowly that will lead to the return of the local population there. And commentators are suggesting that would happen in North Gaza first. Now, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has said that ending the war is the administration in the US's number 4 priority for 2024, and that's after Ukraine, China, and coalition building. He also questioned the world's sole focus on Israel and not Hamas, saying that virtually no one is demanding that Hamas stop hiding behind civilians or lays down its arms. And he actually suggested that the war could be over tomorrow if that happened, and said that any other country that was attacked, like Israel was on the 7th of October, would be doing the same thing. So right now it appears that there's no hostage deal and also no end to the fighting in sight.
Jody Cohen reporting live from Ra'anana. Many thanks for your insight there.